Assalamualaikum guys. This is just basically a update of the mulberry trees update, just to see how they're progressing along after they woke up from their winter period, the dormancy period. This is literally the start of spring here in Sydney, and so I'll just show you how the White Shatoot and the Black Pakistani, the Pakistani Black Mulberries are going, and how productive they actually are, for me anyway. So like I mentioned in earlier videos, I usually prune my White Shatoot Mulberry to the first 3 or 4 nodes, so on each side branch or off branch that's coming off the main branches. I'll leave a few buds, and each one of those buds will produce a cluster of mulberries. So that's one bud there where a new branch comes out, and along with that branch is a cluster of perhaps maybe 10 mulberries, White Shatoot mulberries. So you can see this branch here, I've left maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one I've left a bit extra, maybe six buds or so, 6, 7 buds, and each one of those buds has a cluster of White Shatoot mulberries, and the process repeats itself all through the tree. It's extremely productive. So year after year I get the exact same thing, clusters of mulberries coming out of each bud. So for anyone that's not having the same experience, I would say the main culprit would be the strain of the White Shatoot mulberry that you have. Your copy or your cutting or tree was probably taken of a not so productive strain of White Shatoot mulberry. That's what I would say, because I don't really treat this thing anything special. I just, again, I could have left it unpruned and I'll have millions of mulberries, but I like to keep it nice and compact. That's the only reason I prune it. It's not really for productivity, it's more for accessibility. I prune it this way. So yeah, I would say, yeah, the reason why you're not getting a lot of production on your mulberries is most likely just it's genetics, I would say. Yeah, the strain or the mother tree from which your cutting was taken is probably not so productive, and that's why its offsprings or the copies would follow suit and won't be as productive as they should be. So yeah, this is the White Shatoot. As you can see, very long berries, and this is the start of spring. Perhaps maybe in a little over a month, maybe 6 weeks or so, I'll probably be eating. They ripen pretty quickly, they don't take too long. So by the end of spring, mid to late spring, this thing will be finished. So basically early summer it'll be done, and then I can prune it again and it'll give me another flush. You can get a couple of flushes of mulberries of the White Shatoot. So that's the White Shatoot mulberry in full production. So yep, word of advice: get yourself a productive copy or a productive strain of White Shatoot Mulberry, and that's your best bet. Okay, so this is here. I'm very excited about this. This is my Black Pakistani Mulberry, which is under 3 years old. That's probably 2.5 years old, this tree. So my White Shatoot is about 10 years old. You can see it's got like a 9-inch trunk. This is just under 3 years old. So yeah, obviously it's a mulberry, and mulberry trees, regardless of what type they are, they're extremely vigorous, extremely fast growing. So even though it's only 3 years old, it's almost 4 inches thick, the main trunk. This is actually the first year it's given me a good, it looks like it's going to be a good productive year. I got a couple last year, but not so good. This year just coming back with a vengeance. It looks like the tree has matured and it's just in full production, and also absolutely loaded from top to bottom. So this thing seems to also produce on each bud, just like the White Shatoot does. I didn't prune it heavily, this one, because it's still a young tree, but I did top it off. It was like maybe 6 meters up in the sky or something, so I chopped it in half just so I can reach it, and I kept the low branches for accessibility, so I can access them. But I can see literally on each bud there's a new branch coming, and along that branch there's maybe a cluster of perhaps maybe 5 black Pakistani mulberries. So less in numbers compared to the White Shatoot, and the White Shatoot is probably clusters of 10. This is clusters of 5, but what it lacks in numbers, it makes up in quality. So they're huge. I've never seen a mulberry. So it's still unripe, by the way. It's only early spring. They've just started to form right now, like the shape of the mulberries, and they're absolutely massive. I thought the White Shatoot was big. This thing is just another level. They are massive in terms of length. And thickness. They are evidently larger than the White Shatoot mulberries. Absolutely massive. The White Shatoot can go, the berries can go up to 10 centimeters when they're ripe. So that's at their peak length and ripeness. 10 centimeters, up to 10 centimeters, but on average maybe 6 centimeters, or maybe 2 inches. 2 inches long, which is about 50 centimeters on average in length. 50-60 centimeters, just over 2 inches. This thing here, it looks like the average is maybe close to 4 inches. The average, I would say minimum 3 inches on average each berry on this thing, and absolutely loaded from top to bottom. So just to give you a comparison, I'll grab one of the biggest White Shatoot mulberries I can find and compare it. And even in thickness, this thing here in thickness is probably, I don't know, a 1/4 inch thick, maybe 5 millimeters, maybe 5 millimeters thick. The Black Pakistani seems to be double the thickness, maybe 10 millimeters thick, near into almost 1/2 inch thick each berry. So it's a lot, double the thickness and almost double the length. Okay, let me find one of the largest or the longest White Shatoot I can find, and I'll make a comparison. Okay, that seems to be fairly long. That's a more healthy one. So let's see, Let's go look in the light. Okay. So this thing here, just by eyeing it out, I would say is probably one of the largest white shatoot you're going to get from a mature tree. Obviously, they might grow a little bit more by the time they ripen, but more or less that's their size, and that's about maybe 70 mil long, 60 to 70 mil long, so close to 3 inches long, and the thickness is maybe just under 5 millimeters. So by the time it ripens, it'll thicken up a bit more, so maybe 5 to 6 millimeters thick, so just under a 1/4 inch in thickness. And just to compare it to a large Black Pakistani, so you know they're all large, but just to give you a comparison, I'll just take this one off and I'll just lay him down on the floor. So there you have it there. So that's pretty much the largest White Shatoot berry you're gonna get compared to the largest Black Pakistani Mulberry, and they're all pretty much that's a pretty common size on the Black Pakistani. So it's not a one-off. Most of them are this size. So it's got maybe at least 1/2 inch on it, about 15 millimeters longer, and the thickness is also almost double the thickness, almost. And obviously once they ripen, they'll get thicker and longer. But yeah, just a side-by-side comparison. Black Pakistani is just a titan of a berry, massive, long, thick. I haven't had a proper taste of it yet. I had maybe a couple last year, but they didn't ripen properly, so because it dropped most of its fruit. It wasn't ready to hold much fruit last year, but this year, yeah, definitely it's ready for production. So I'll have a proper taste of it, and I'll let you know how it tastes exactly. Okay, let this compost in there. But yeah, again, I didn't treat it anything special. No special. You can see, no special pruning or anything like that. You can see here this branch, I've left it alone, this whole branch here from the top to the bottom. And again, on every node, so from the least advanced, and as you go down the branch, it gets more advanced, as in, you know, the buds have opened, and you can see they're forming a cluster of mulberries from each bud. And each bud will basically, that's a more advanced version of another branch. So each bud will produce a new branch, and off the base of that branch are the fruits or the berries. And yeah, as you can see, every single bud has a cluster of mulberries. Like literally every single bud has a cluster of mulberries. There you go. So the bud mulberries. Yeah, so bud mulberries, bud mulberries, bud mulberries, bud mulberries, and so on. Every single bud has a cluster. So extremely productive. It looks like it's going to be as productive as my White Shatoot, if not more productive. And yeah, no special pruning. I mean, I'll prune it just for shape, nothing else. Not really for productivity. I neglect it. I haven't even got irrigation of this thing, apart from the mulch. That's the only thing this thing gets, really, just a bunch of mulch. Never water it. I'll never water it. It doesn't have any irrigation. It just receives rainwater when it rains, basically, you know. That's about it. So I literally neglect it, but they thrive on neglect, mulberries. They're not too fussy. That's why they're considered weeds here in Australia, and I would say in most countries it probably is considered a weed. Very vigorous, very easy to take care of. But yeah, I know there's not too much information about Black Pakistani berries out there, but yeah, I thought I'd make a bit of an update on a Black Pakistani Mulberry, just to show you how it's moving along. And it looks like after the third or on the third year, that's when it's a graft. So this is a grafted version. It's been grafted, and even the grafted one took almost 3 years to break into full production. So if your one is at least that old or older and it hasn't produced for you yet, not as much, I would say again, most likely, if I had to put on one thing, it's probably the strain. The mother tree of your tree is probably not so productive. So get yourself a productive strain of a mulberry and you should be happy. I think some of them can even be males, from what I've heard, so it could even be that. But yeah, extremely productive, and can't wait for when they're ripe, and it shouldn't be too long from now, maybe in a 6 weeks or so, they'll start ripening, these bad boys. All right, I hope you enjoyed the update, and I will give you another update when they ripen up. I just wanted to catch it now before the leaves fully develop and they camouflage the fruit. The fruits will be hidden behind or the berries will be hidden behind the leaves. It will be harder to spot. So I thought I'll catch them before they're out of sight. And I'll catch up with you in the next video, inshallah.